See you later. Shredded Bean.
I'd like to introduce you to Beavis and Butt Shred. I present Ron Popeil. Say it with me, gentlemen.
What do we got here?
Shredded and
forget it.
there we go.
Look at Ron.
It's back for the stretch run towards your fantasy playoffs. I thought it'd be a perfect time to bring back the Shredder so you know which fantasy trends will continue, what's going to happen in Week 12, what's true, what's not, what gets shredded, what stays put together. It's called Shreddy, or Not. Will you help me out?
I like it, sure, yeah.
Got a Shredder. We had hundreds of submissions.
Oh, this thing's
Julian Shredelman and Shredarius Smith, but here we have Kira Shredrick.
Very good.
Kira, you got the closer out here.
You got the closer.
This is what I
look at
decided
that.
to win with because this felt the most appropriate for our breakfast table this morning for our show.
Loved her in singles.
You got to.
Fantastic.
You're gonna think I'm crazy. This is my favorite one because this is a deep cut. Shreddy Van Halen, Shreddy Mercury, obvious.
Of course.
Shredrick,
Yeah,
fantastic.
Shreddy Krueger, Tom
Pirates
Shreddy,
with her
all of that.
husband.
Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
for Shreddy?
I do. Miss Shredwick. Aaron Rodgers currently having a good season win-loss wise, yet he is the 13th ranked quarterback in the fantasy rankings this week. So I present you to this, Miss Adams.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers will finish outside the top 10 quarterbacks this week when they're playing the Niners.
I feel like this is a little, everybody needs to pump the brakes on Aaron Rodgers. Yes, he only has one touchdown in the last 3 weeks, the last 2 games. He's coming off a bye. He's had a bye week to prepare for his competition this week. Devontae Adams should be back and healthy and active. Let's not forget, he's still a top 10 fantasy quarterback when all is said and done. So I know it's a tough matchup against the Niners. Kyler put up points against the Niners. Russell Wilson, we've seen success through the air, on the ground. So I'm going to shred this. And if we look at the rankings over at NFL.com, he is going 13th. And I don't really agree with it. I mean, I like Carr and Baker over Aaron Rodgers. I'll give you that. But I like Rodgers over Dak. Dak's got the Patriots. I like Rodgers over Wentz and Jameis, which is enough to put him inside the top 10. So, Shia.
Okay, look out for
Get
an
him,
arm
Shredrick.
shred.
Oh, yeah.
Shia, shred you later.
Hanging with Travolta and Phenomenon, too, very good.
Who's she married
Niners
to?
defense.
Kevin Bacon.
Oh.
1 degree of separation.
One degree of separation.
All right, this segment always provides some educational value, so I'm going to ask you about Lenny Fournette. All right, he has slowed down a little bit of late. He will have 100-plus scrimmage yards for the first time in 4 weeks, Lenny Fournette?
There's only one running back who's had 100 yards on this Titans run defense. It's Christian McCaffrey. I don't think Leonard Fournette does it. If you look at what happened last time they played each other, Week 4, Leonard Fournette could not get anything done. In fact, he had negative yardage until late in the game. And you can take a look right here. He broke off a 69-yard run and finally got it going. Negative yardage, broke the run. So, I mean, after that, he finished with 66 rush yards. To me, 1 touchdown this season. More concerning than that, he's been getting bottled up lately, and it's not getting easier against the Titans. They stop the run to pretty much everybody. So I'm going to say I'm going to shred this.
Whoa.
He's involved in the receiving game, and if you're in a PPR league, play him, but I don't think he gets 100 on the ground.
Doug Marone's got some questions to answer. All right, let's go to
Loved her secondhand Lions.
B.J.
That is.
Odell Beckham. You've been watching him, right? He will finish outside of the top 10 at wide receivers for the 10th straight week.
He's finished outside the top 40 at wide receiver 5 different times this season. It has not been great. A lot of people took him really early in this one. And if you look at his PPR ranks by week, where he's finished and what he's got going on, ooh, I don't know. You're starting to see the Browns feature more of late. 22 targets for the last 2 weeks. I don't know. He's drawn some penalties, but Baker's been playing better. I do think we see him have a breakout game. Want to know why? It's very easy.
Shreddy Kitchens.
Hey, O'Hara.
Thank you.
It's Miami.
Okay.
It's the Dolphins. I have to shred this. I think he ends up inside the top 10. This is his breakout game. Maybe his only one he'll give you this season. I have one. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, last one for Kira Shredwick here. All right, things won't be incredibly awkward between Kyle Brandt and Jimmy Garoppolo when they inevitably meet at NFL Honors later this year.
Oh, my God.
Any thoughts on that, Traeger?
Yeah, does it get weird?
What do you do? Do you give the full-on bro hug, or do you do like the
don't
booty
know.
hug?
Or does he just slap you with a restraining order right then and
right
there?
then and
How
there.
does it go?
Wait.
There's an award for Hottie of the Year. Who knew? Who's the nominees? Even bother. It won't be awkward for me. It'll be a
I'm
Harlequin
going to
romance
say
novel.
it will be incredibly awkward for all parties involved, don't you think?
Yeah.
Triggs?
Immediately, Kyle comments on how good he looks in the suit. And then Jimmy is left thinking, what is going on?
Maybe Jimmy compliments me back.
Kyle, I think
Past the Altoids.
I think it all depends on who's he with.
Okay.
That
With
could
me,
become-
isn't he?
We'll sell that.
totally
when
I'll
we
wear a
get
dress
to
if
the
I'll do
Super
J-Lo.
City.
I
All
don't
right.
care.
That was
Whatever I got to do,
last
baby.
Last season.
No, who's the new thing?
Me!
You.
Yes!
That has
Joe
devolved.
Yes.
Jimmy.
I will do
We
my
get
best
who
to
he
follow that
dated.
up. Mention KB and Jimmy
Now.
G, and all heck breaks loose. The Texans coming up a tough loss against the Ravens and a highly publicized matchup against the Ravens, but they have no time to dwell in their sorrow as they have a big divisional matchup waiting on Thursday night against the Colts. Deshaun Watson had his lowest passer rating of the season in that game against Baltimore. It was also Watson's first career loss by more than one possession, but the good news is the Texans are at home against the Colts, where Watson holds a career 11-4 record. Head coach Bill O'Brien not worried about Watson bouncing back on Thursday night.
He's only really into his third season, but really it's 2.5 seasons. I mean, he's got a lot of football left in his career. He's played a lot of football. Thing that he does is he really has a good memory bank, so he can understand what's happened, and he's not a repeat error. He doesn't make the same mistake twice, but he's still seeing things that are new. And so, in his career. So I think he does a great job of trying to, working hard to correct things, and that's what great players do, and that's what he is.
As for the Colts, they're coming off a win over the Jags and are now 3-0 in the AFC South. It was their first win by more than one possession. In fact, they have the smallest margin of defeat in the AFC at less than 5 points a game. Head coach Frank Reich knows they need to keep their focus on the task at hand.
There can't be any letdown. I mean, we're just acknowledging, let's just acknowledge that there's a human nature tendency after having a dominating performance to think, okay, we got this. But we need to know we're playing, obviously, a great football team. They're coming off a tough loss. We're coming off what we're coming off of. We need to have the right look in our eye and the right feeling in our minds.
As for his wide receiver, T.Y. Hilton, he is likely a game-time decision, as he says he has a couple more hurdles to clear from his calf injury. So we will certainly keep you updated on his status as we are one sleep away from Thursday Night Football, Kay.
Yeah, excited to see what Jonathan Williams can do. He had a 100-yard game when Marlon Mack got hurt. We didn't have Jordan Wilkins out there. We don't know if he'll be available, so we'll see what they can do on a short week, but we are excited to kick off TNF.
Oh,
Will,
yeah.
excited to talk to you as always. But also excited about Huddle for 100. And as part of that this season, the NFL Salute to Service campaign is encouraging fans to join the NFL and its players in honoring those who have bravely served this country. In this installment, Drew Brees reaches out to a Marine Corps veteran from New Orleans who is helping servicemen and women transition back to life on the home front.
My name is Jonathan Beretta. I'm 29 years old. I am from New Orleans, Louisiana. I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years. I was deployed 2 times to Afghanistan. I was M1A1 tank gunner. For me, it was a culture shock whenever we first got into Afghanistan, and then it was also a culture shock of getting back out into the civilian world. But it never leaves you, the love and passion that you have for the city of New Orleans and the passion that you have for the Saints, it's beyond this world.
Dear Jonathan, on behalf of the entire New Orleans Saints organization, thank you for your service to our country as a member of the United States Marine Corps. Your great sacrifice and selfless acts make my job possible. I was so happy to hear that you were able to use football, specifically Saints football, as a stress reliever while you were stationed in Afghanistan.
I'm involved with an organization called Next Stop Veterans. I oversee our employment program and coaching veterans on how to write their resume.
Your life post-combat is even more admirable than what you endured on the front lines. I can't begin to imagine the hardships you faced in returning back home. However, your work in helping veterans and service members transition back into the civilian world is incredible.
My favorite player is Drew Brees. When Drew Brees came to the Saints, I was beyond ecstatic. He just speaks up, and the whole city listens whenever he talks. The whole team listens to when he talks.
It's time to finish strong and hold up this trophy for this group, for our city.
Drew Brees writing a letter. It's amazing.
Your efforts in helping fellow servicemen and women will help them avoid some of the things that you endured when returning home.
And it is so commendable that you continue to provide them with strength and guidance.
From the bottom of my heart and from the entire Saints family, thank you.
Happy Veterans Day. Sincerely, Drew Brees, number 9. Who dat? He left that piece out there.
Send your letter today. You can